All right, hi guys. I thought I'd come on and YouTube and give a video about materials. Okay, many of you are giving me comments that you don't have anything to draw with at home. Well, I'm sure that you have a pencil or you have even a ballpoint pen. Now, what I thought I would do for you is I'd give you a little demonstration of what you can do. Okay, so here I went ahead and I drew in my sketchbook. This is that sketchbook I told you I'm in collaboration with another artist with, okay? Here my pencil. What I'm going to do is, in the case of no color, if you have no color pencils, you're going to use a regular pencil. And what you're going to do is you're going to use the side of the pencil. You're going to apply pressure to the pencil and do what we call blending. I taught this in the beginning of the school year, and we've been using it throughout the class. I think the last project that we used it again was during the portrait, okay? We used it several times. By now, my goodness, you should be tired of hearing me say, go light to dark, go light to dark. Now, because I usually start off pretty dark, okay? That's why I'm building up slowly and making my surface dark. Now I'm going to keep on going, and I'm going to slowly go to the light shade. And that light shade is what? Again, is value variation. In your composition, to show that you have been with me, that I should see you using your technique, and I should see you using value variation, okay? I'm not going to go for students that are going to just shade it in light to dark over the whole darn page. No, we need to see contrast in between our areas. That's how we can tell one area to another. So what you're going to do is you're going to complete your entire composition using the pencil, all right? But make sure you're going from light to dark, light to dark, light to dark. I started off dark, and then I'm going to recede to the light, all right? Now, remember another thing too, if you're working in a small sketchbook, you're taking 2 pages. You're not taking 1 page. So make sure that you're following the instructions. 9 by 12 is what I'm asking for. Now, already, I'm making some changes in the sense of what medium, all right? So those who don't have color, you're going to use regular pencil, or you're going to even use pen. You do hatching, you can do cross hatching, you could do stippling. Now, I'm going to take it all the way down. I'm sorry I'm doing this all on camera. My goodness, I know it's going to probably bore some of you, but some of you might even need this demonstration, okay? Now I'm going to smooth it out now. And I'm going to allow it to go to that light shade. So here I went from the light to dark, and I could even get in even darker in here. All right, now another thing I taught is that in between, also always make sure your whole page is covered. I don't want to see any white. We talked about this multiple times. In here, because I went from the dark to the light, everybody knows by now that I'm going to go ahead and work with dark on this side. Why am I going to work with dark? Because my goodness, we need contrast. I know this is the rhythm page, but yes, in every art piece that we work with, we need at least contrast in order to define our forms. In this case, it happens to be repetitive lines, okay, that are working in a way where they're flowing. So one area, I went from that light to dark in here. Now I'm going from the dark to light, and vice versa. Okay, so I could see these 2 edges. So this is what you should be doing. And remember, like I said, the whole entire page covered. Now careful with your hand. Remember, it will get dirty, so you might want to cover the table before you start working. I want to put a paper in between your hand like I taught you how to work with. Okay, just like so. Now, continue through. So that way you've got, I'm not going to finish the whole thing online here, but I just thought I'd come on and show you things you can do just with a pencil. Okay, and you could do this with a pen, like I said. You could do this even with a, or a regular pencil. I'll let you decide which medium you're going to use on that respect. Okay, those that don't have color pencil at home or marker, all right? Even marker can be used. But if you don't have those, then we're going to have to resort to regular pencil. But you have to get these projects done. You don't have to go out to an art supply store unless you can. I'd rather you not. I'd rather you just stay home. All right, unless your parents are going out. If your parents are going out, say, hey, get me a pack of pencils from Publix, okay? So here I went from light to dark, and then I'm going to proceed from dark to light, okay? Now, hopefully you guys, that should clear up the confusion on the pencil medium or any other medium. I mean, already you guys have been with me for almost a year, all right? I only feel sorry for a few, you know who you are, who came in just about 2 weeks ago, some of you, before we went on break. I feel so bad that unfortunately you didn't have this, but where can you find this information? You can find this information on Edmodo in the library section, okay? You're going to look up in the library section, you're going to look for an assignment called The Elements of Art book. It was the very first assignment that we did. And you're going to look inside that folder and you're going to find a whole vocabulary, terminology, things that I presented during that time, okay? So here I'm not done, I'm going to let this fade a bit better, all right? Probably working some contrast here too. Between here it's getting too much the same. When it gets too much the same, I want you to get darker in one area. Okay, and then also another thing too that's kind of weird is that I have this little buckle in the paper, so I want to get in there, but I know it's kind of hard to get in there. So that's it for right there. Of course, I'm going to go in more. Okay, I'll go into all this, and then the next section, I'll go from dark to light. Okay, and then here, I'll probably, because I went from dark to light, I'll go dark here, and then I'll go light here. All right, so that's what you do with pencil. All right, now, another thing you could do is pen. I don't mind you working with pen. You can, and the same thing, hatching, cross-hatching, or stippling. Now, another thing for my painters, I know some of you asked me, what do I do if I don't have paint? What do I do? Well, in this area here, I started off with a mixture of blueberries. I took basically blueberry. I would recommend fruits because of the fact that they do not have sugar, a strong sugar like the factory juices. I'd highly recommend using either coffee, tea, or even berries. Raspberries have coloring. Actually, I have a friend that she works with clothing, and she dyes fabric with using food coloring, which is basically, she does it from food. She uses avocado skin, she uses passion tea, she uses coffee, she uses even black beans to get the blacks that she does. So here I made a mix, and this is just using two blueberries, okay? Two blueberries, I smashed it down, and now I have my Q-tip. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to darken this area, okay, slowly but surely. And don't rub too hard. You don't want to put too much pressure on the paper. All right, but slowly add in your color, and that's the way you do it, okay? And I know some of you might not have brushes. Some of you might not have a lot of things. For my painting class, I know you have brushes. For my magnet class, I know you have brushes. So if you run out of paint, this is, believe it or not, this is an alternative. You could do it with coffee, like I said. You could do it with blueberries, anything that gives off color, even black beans. But make sure it doesn't have the spices. Make sure you strain the black beans and take the juice from the black bean. Maybe mom, when she's cooking black beans, you could ask her, hey, can I get some of the juice? And you could use that to create your paintings, all right? So I made one video on surfaces, and I made one video on media, okay? So please follow through on this, and hopefully this will find us through this COVID-19. And I know this school year, it's going to go by fast. We have another 8 weeks to go. So stay patient, all right? And we'll work through it, all right? Now, when you're done with this composition, if you are using fruit, like I said, you could go slow. Let it dry in between and then go back to it. Maybe work on 2 images at one time. I know coffee is a little bit different. It's a little bit more concentrate. The blueberries are not as concentrated, unless you have a grinder. If you have a grinder, my goodness, you could take a few blueberries and grind them down. And you can make your own paint that way. in that respect, okay? You could even use flowers from outside, hibiscus flowers. They're fantastic too. They have very good coloring. Even leaves are green. Believe it or not, you'll get coloring from green. So this is ways, guys, in which we can get through this COVID-19 pandemic. I know you don't have supplies. I'm just trying to help you be resourceful and try to find ways in which you could work, okay? So, and some of you guys, I don't know, maybe you want to explore this. Maybe you would like to try it out, see what it does for you. And like I said, go slow, take your time with it. And if you do have a brush, it is easier. You'll be able to get a little bit more detail. But you have to go slow, and you have to add it little at a time. You got to give it some time in between, because it does get very, it's very moist, and it winds up to where you need to pause in between and let the surface dry and then work more. It's like glazes, okay? Like we learned in watercolor, how you work with glazes, that transparent veil of color, one on top of the other, that's a glaze. And what I'm doing is actually glazing, but I'm using this blueberry. So I know this is going to be difficult. This is not exactly what we all planned, but my recommendation is try this out, see if it works for you. And as you see, it's starting to come out. It's starting to make it look like something. And the more layers you add, the darker it's going to get, okay? And I promise you it'll look volume-esque. And still don't forget about your light to dark, you know, still try your best to make that light to dark by application, by adding more of the berry juice, slowly, a little at a time. And I would not try any juices, because juices have sugar. And I would try beans, I would try leaves and plants. I would try the passion flower. I would also try coffee. Coffee I know for sure works really well. All right, so those who don't have materials, this is one way to work, okay? Just trying to help you out so that way we could get through this, all right? So all I used this Q-tip, and I used 2 blueberries, okay? So you can make it happen, guys. It is possible through this COVID-19. Stay safe. Eat your broccoli, eat your spinach, eat your blueberries, all right? And stay well. Bye.